Elon Musk is back for another head-to-head with the Australian government, and neither side is backing down without a fight. The showdown comes amid calls for a social media crackdown after a barrage of posts in the wake of the Sydney stabbings.
I think the public's had a gutful of these narcissistic billionaires.
They see themselves above the law, and the Australian law here should apply equally in the real world as it does online.
Both sides of politics united against a common enemy, Elon Musk.
This is exactly as I'd expect from X, a disregard for the information that they pump into our communities.
The social media platform, formerly known as Twitter, clapping back at demands from Australia's online Watchdog, which instructed X to pull down violent and distressing videos and imagery of this week's Sydney church stabbing.
X has now received a demand from the E-Safety Commissioner that X globally withhold these posts or face a daily fine of $785,000. The E-Safety Commissioner does not have the authority to dictate what content X's users can see globally.
This is absolutely what I would expect Elon Musk to do. He doesn't shy away from challenging governments or people he doesn't agree with.
X will remove the content for now, but plans to challenge the order in court, saying it threatens free speech. Musk himself labelling the E-Safety Commissioner the Australian censorship commissar.
I think what they're worried about is the flow onto other markets if Australia's laws are upheld, and that's all the more reason, I think, for us to take a stance.
The E-Safety Office says it's disappointed the process has been unnecessarily prolonged rather than prioritising the safety of Australians. It comes in the wake of both the Western Sydney church attack and the Bondi Junction mass stabbing, which saw a wave of misinformation circulate online.
It proves to be very difficult to foster community cohesion when social media firms still continue to disseminate untruths, rumours that circulate like wildfire.
The coalition now prepared to back Labor's proposed misinformation laws to toughen social media compliance. But as the tech giants rail against Australia's attempts to protect users, do we stand a chance in this David versus Goliath battle?
I think this is a titanic struggle because these guys aren't subject to Australian laws. They don't set foot in Australia. Most of their money is not even derived from this country. So, what power do we really have to enforce what's best for Australia?
Tech companies often grab straight for that free speech argument. But in some ways the genie's out of the bottle now. How do you put this stuff back? But when this is a platform, and these social media platforms are somewhere where people get their news, their information, and there are zero guardrails in place for what kind of information can be put on those platforms, it is dangerous. There has to be something to contain that, because people will go to these sources and think this is factual news. And also be exposed to things that we would really think seriously about putting on the television because of the impact it might have on somebody, but there's no such, consideration on Twitter or any social media.
China does a good job.
Well, yeah, that's the gold standard.
But that's the kind of thing. Is this the thin end of the wedge? And I think there's you need to clarify. It's not freedom of speech when it's incitement to violence, right? And putting these really hotly contested videos online, but. I think it feels a bit overreachy, the government deciding what can and can't be put on a global platform.
But I think they have to do something.
And to be fair to that, I don't think... the Australian government obviously doesn't have the right to determine, what happens outside of its jurisdiction. But these are businesses that make millions of dollars in Australia. Their operations here should be subject to Australian law. And everyone that delivers information has the responsibility of a publisher. It's just that these tech giants will not accept that responsibility of that label, publisher. And we know that they are publishing this content, even though there are users that are part of it. But, we've all seen the effects that this can have on our society. The wrong people named as being attackers, riots unfolding in real time because something is live streamed. There's real threat, and tech companies are only becoming more powerful. We should also note we reached out to the E-Safety Commissioner today. She declined to give us a comment.